It is a period of intergalactic war. Appearances of alien spaceships known as Hellfighters, striking from their mothership, the Dimacon, have driven the populace of the Earth into mass panic. A group of ex-Space Federation members are called together by Dr. Matsuzawa, chief of the Japanese branch of the Space Federation, to help deal with the problem. These men are Miyoshi, Muroi, and Jimmy from NASA. Along with Captain Masato, his daughter Jun, and a team of astronauts, they board the Goten, a huge intergalactic space warship. Flying to Venus, the crew of the Goten face the Dimacon's captain, an alien known as Commander Hell. And when the situation seems dire and it looks like all hope is lost, Captain Masato of the Goten sacrifices his life to defeat Commander Hell and the rest of the Messiah 13 aliens.
Woo! This music is too good.
Jaysha, War in Space versus Flash Gordon, which is the better soundtrack?
Oh my goodness. You're pitting whoever this was up against Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I forgot Queen did that.
Flash Gordon's unbeatable. But let me say that this isn't super far off. Like, I expected this, just like all the other space movies that we've seen so far, to just be the most boring, unspace-like soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like jazzy.
This had a bass line.
This had like electric guitar riffs all the way through.
What did I have in the background while the music was playing?
I think initially it was showing like rolling waves of clouds.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Can't beat it.
This movie is something else. It's funny bringing up Flash Gordon though, because it gave me huge Flash Gordon vibes, gave me huge Star Trek vibes, and even more Star Wars vibes. We're going to get into it, folks, but let's just cue our intro music.
Welcome back, P-fans. Are we still calling them P-fans?
Oh man, I forgot that P-fans was our, everyone, right? If you're a Godzilla fan, you're a G fan. If you're a Podzilla fan, you're a P fan. And it's the letter P. It's not P-E-E. I just want to put that out.
No. G and P fans are like, welcome back to Podzilla.
Yeah.
The audio show where I, Micah Drake.
Yeah. And me, Jaysha Drake.
Yeah.
I got caught off guard because you called this an audio show, and that sounds like really like professional.
Professional, yeah.
Podzilla, the audio show.
What is this? Podzilla, where we go through every Godzilla and Godzilla adjacent movie.
Yeah.
In order of release.
Order of release. And we're up to The War in Space, directed by Jun Fukuda. Came out in 1977. We're hitting like the late 70s, guys. Things are going fast. It feels like early in the Showa era, there were just like a couple of movies a year. Now I think our last one was Terror of Mechagodzilla.
That's right.
Which came out in 1975. So we're a couple years later than that. This feels weird as well because we haven't recorded since before Christmas.
No.
And we haven't recorded like just me and you doing a Podzilla episode by ourselves since Zone Fighter, so
it's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Two important things about this episode real quick. One, I'd like to remind you that this is tied into the Godzilla franchise because this is the third movie in the trilogy of the Mysterian franchise.
Yeah, it's officially the final film in the Mysterians trilogy.
Yeah, and the second movie, Battle in Outer Space, feels like it had no relevance to the first movie, The Mysterians. This movie, War in Space, feels like it had no relevance to the past movie. But this is related to the Godzilla franchise because in the first movie, both the Mysterians and their giant battle mech, the Mogira, made appearances.
Yeah.
They are not technically linked in with the Godzilla franchise yet.
No, but in the Heisei era, which we're just about to get into, Mogira makes his reappearance. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, Mysterians, you can draw a pretty clear connection between Godzilla and Mysterians because of Mogira. Battle in Outer Space, that has nothing to do with Godzilla, but it does have characters from the Mysterians that were recast.
Yeah.
This film...
Did they have the spaceship as well? Did that appear in any of the other movies?
No. But this film, The War in Space, is a direct sequel to Battle in Outer Space, apparently. It was initially
not really
going to be called Battle in Outer Space 2. It still says it's a direct sequel anywhere. I didn't see anything in the movie that drew us to that conclusion.
There would have been like one character's name.
Once again, it feels like the people in this movie, like this is their first encounter with aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into it later because there's a few other little connections, most of which is probably the intergalactic ship you mentioned, which is called the Go-10 in this. And it's a huge battleship that's supposed to be in the water, but they've made it so it can fly in space. It's got a huge drill in the front.
Yes, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, because it is based off the Go-Tengo, which was an undersea submarine ship with a drill in the front from the movie Atragon, where Mando was first introduced.
That's
that we've
right.
covered on the show.
There's a few connections.
Yeah.
Second big thing, this movie came out in 1977. If that date sounds familiar, it's because that's the year that Star Wars A New Hope was released.
Yeah.
And oh boy.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's start off with a bit of trivia. Let's break the Podzilla mold, right?
Yeah.
So you guys already knew, and we went over it. This was originally supposed to be Battle in Outer Space 2. That's what it was supposed to be called. It still technically is, even though it doesn't feel like it. But interestingly enough, producer of the Godzilla franchise and a lot of Toho's movies, Tomoyuki Tanaka, and the special effects director for this movie, Terayoshi Nakano, saw Star Wars in Japan in 1977, ahead of when it was actually supposed to be released in Japan in 1978. So, I mean, Alf Dad loves Star Wars. He saw it in theaters in 1977. The Star Wars craze was sweeping the nation, the globe, in 1977, but Japan wasn't going to get it till 1978. But Tomoyuki Tanaka and Terayoshi Nakano were able to see it a year early.
A whole year. Now that's a lot of time.
Yeah. And so what did they do? They saw that they were making a movie called Battle in Outer Space 2, and they wanted to make it like Star Wars, to catch the Star Wars craze before Star Wars would officially even be released in Japan. So they'll copy some of Star Wars stuff, and people in Japan would have seen nothing like it.
And the result of that is this weird mishmash movie of something that was originally going to be just a normal sci-fi, but they have taken elements of Star Wars that these producers would have seen ahead of time. So you have these weird, small references of things which are clearly from the Star Wars, almost to the point of being rip-offs.
Yeah. The aspects are all added in. Like, for instance, you've got a character that looks like a Wookiee called the Space Beast Man, who, Dugora, you did an amazing job with our episode thumbnail for the Space Beast Man.
And yes, you heard that right. Its name is the Space Beast Man.
Space Beast Man. Famous sci-fi character, Space Beast Man. He's just a Wookiee with horns, right?
And a worse name.
Yeah, so they obviously watched Star Wars, saw Chewbacca, and were like, let's do something like that. But then they make a Wookiee-like character, make him evil, don't really give him any personality, and chuck him in a few scenes. Like, it's not... I wouldn't even say it's a rip-off. It's like they saw aspects of Star Wars and then just splattered them onto a wall completely different places for this movie.
This is a weird tangent as well, but if you're familiar with the movie Ratatouille, which I'm going down this tractation as I'm talking about, there was a big craze at the time. There are these, I want to say like not even B or C, D, maybe E-rated movie makers.
Z movies.
These Z-rated movie companies, which they see that Pixar's making a movie like Ratatouille. They think, okay, this is a movie about a rat and a chef. They get a bunch of people to work literally in the span of 1 month to create the worst ripoff of Ratatouille, literally just based on those few factors. So there is this very, very badly made movie called Ratatouille, which this company made just to capitalize off Ratatouille. And that is almost exactly what... I wouldn't say exactly, because
it's
this is
similar.
Almost weirder, but it's a similar mindset.
Yeah, because it doesn't like take Ratatouille stuff beat to beat. It just takes the aspect of, hey, rats and food, and then kind of does a completely different thing with it.
Yeah. But it's also weird because it feels at some points like this movie is basing itself a bit more on Star Trek than Star Wars.
Yeah, it just feels like a whole lot of American sci-fi tropes all chucked into a Japanese movie, which gave it a kind of a charm, which I liked.
Yeah.
But I will just say as well, quickly, before we actually get into the movie, they really, really pushed this movie to be made as fast as possible to try and get it out there before Star Wars came around. The first draft for War in Space was submitted on September 13th of 1977.
Yep.
And then the final draft was submitted on October 12th. and then this movie was to come out in December. So
Wait, so that's 2 months between the final draft and the release date.
insane, right?
Whoa.
So they really, really just pushed for this movie to come out before 1978, where everyone would see Star Wars in Japan.
And we have seen Toho in the past push for movies to be made in a matter of months, whether that be like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
But 2 months is record time.
Blows my mind, right? How they're able to do as much as they did in this in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's get into the war in space. So, I mean, you went over it. It's essentially a group of astronauts are sent out to battle against this evil alien warship on Venus that is threatening to destroy the Earth.
Yeah.
At its most basic form. But we've actually got some like quite cool characters. Did you have their names? The 3 main guys that were aboard the Goten?
Yeah, so what is cool about this Mysterians trilogy is that the human characters are a bit more well fleshed out. So at the head of this movie, we have this group of ex-Space Federation members. We have our main man, Miyoshi, who's played by Kensaku Morita. He's a ex-Space Federation member who's been on leave in the US for a couple years.
Yeah, he was really good at doing whatever Space Federation people do in Japan, so much so that he went off and helped out America for a couple of years.
That's
and
right.
This movie starts with him returning to Japan.
So he comes home to Japan to see a bunch of his friends, including Muroi, played by Masaya Oki. And he's kind of his best bud. He's been away for a couple of years, so it's nice to see him. Also, aside from this ex-Space Federation members, we have June.
Yeah.
She's the female lead in this movie, played by Yuko Asano.
Yeah.
So Miyoshi comes home to Japan after years. Good to see his best buddies. They'll sit down for dinner in a restaurant, and he finds out that Muroi and June are actually engaged.
Even though that Miyoshi and June were always a thing, and June loved Miyoshi, and that's why he moved away, because he felt bad for his best friend, who liked June, even though she didn't like him. Instantly in this movie, we're given this huge love triangle, and it's such a funny scene when like they go out to dinner to celebrate Miyoshi returning home to Japan, and it's just jazz music playing in this like club. They're all sitting at a table, and it's so awkward. You've got Jun like darting her eyes between the guys. You've got Miyoshi who's like dodging his eyes around.
Muroi's just staring at Miyoshi.
Yeah, and then Muroi comes up and he's like, Miyoshi, we need to tell you we're engaged. What do you think?
And he just sits there for like 5 seconds. I'm happy for you.
It's such
With
a
the
like,
funniest smile.
It's like such a fever dream, just the wacky music in the background. And then there's a third main man, Micah.
Yeah, you can't forget Jimmy from NASA.
Jimmy from NASA, who was talked about throughout like the first half of this movie, but we never see him.
But he comes in halfway.
Yeah.
When the Hellfighters start shooting down this lone man who's parachuting onto an island. His parachute gets shot off. He starts running. He comes up to a cliff with the ocean far, far below, and he does like a 10 out of 10 dive into the water.
And Jimmy's played by David Perrin. I think he's only been in... No, this is his only movie he's been in.
He's been in one more movie on IMDb.
Oh, really?
It's another old one, but I want to track it down because Jimmy's... He's real cool in this. I like him.
Yeah, it's just so funny because throughout the start of this movie, they're all getting ready to go on their trip on the Goten, and they keep saying, "Oh, Jimmy from NASA's coming." Yeah, Jimmy from NASA's going to be
Jimmy
here.
from
We
NASA.
just got a letter. It's for Jimmy from NASA, and we'll give it to him when he shows up. And then, like, you don't have any clue who Jimmy from NASA is,
No.
and then you're just introduced to him in this crazy like fight scene with him trying to get away from UFOs trying to shoot him down. Even from then, he escapes UFOs, he jumps on board the Goten, and then soon afterwards, he gets told that his whole family was dead.
Yeah.
They're like, he gets that letter I talked about, and it's saying,
I think Muroi or Miyoshi gives it to him with the phrase, "I want you to know that you weren't forgotten." Nobody knows what the heck that's supposed to mean.
and Jimmy just opens this letter, and it's like, your parents are dead, your brother's dead, your sister's dead.
All of New York has been
Destroyed.
bombarded. Yeah. We also have one more, I want to say main character. This is Captain Masato. He's Jun's father.
Yes.
He's the man who created the blueprints for the Goten in the first place.
Mm.
And in the latter half of the movie, he becomes, I want to say, the Captain Kirk of the ship. He's always
Yeah.
sitting in the bridge on his big chair, not saying anything, just looking seriously at the screen.
Yeah. He's a real tactical guy, though. He's not.
Get that. Could you try again?
No, Siri, I'm not going to try again. He's a tactical guy.
Yeah, he's a real tactical guy. Like Captain Kirk would do some sort of Kobayashi Maru maneuver, right? And this guy's like, no, let's wait it out. Let's just wait. Let's just go in slowly. Let's be tactical about this.
There's a point where let's get to the aliens real quick.
Yeah, flip. So the aliens are called the Messiah 13 aliens, and they are just like humans but have green skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then their leader is a guy called Commander Hell, who
With one L.
Is it one L?
Pretty sure it's one L.
And he is a guy in green skin, dressed in like a Roman centurion outfit with like a Zorro mask over his face.
Yeah. And he also has his legion of minions, which don't really have green skin.
They look like executioners. They've just got black like cloth draped over their heads.
They look like hostages. They look like somebody,
Yeah.
got potato sacks, chucked them over their heads and tied them with a rope. And these guys just fly their hell cruisers every which way.
And then inexplicably he has the spaceman beastman on his side.
The man beast space
The space
Man
beastman
beast.
man from space.
from space.
Who's just always next to him. It's weird. It's very weird.
Anyway, at some point during this movie, these Messiah 30 aliens take June from the Goten.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy scene. The aliens come aboard, shots fired everywhere.
Mm.
And then Captain Masato, he just sits there. He doesn't even follow them.
No.
Because he's tactical.
He's tactical. His own daughter's taken. Let's take our time.
Let's take our time. Let's
And-
be patient.
And then she gets like held captive by Commander Hell and the Space Beastman, and she's dressed in like some skimpy slave outfit. And this is before Return of the Jedi.
This is before.
So I think George Lucas must have seen War in Space and been like, I see here that they have. I can't do a George Lucas. He would have seen, hey, they're holding her captive in some sort of slave outfit. Let's take that for our movie.
Yeah, there were a couple other weird references to Star Wars.
Commander Hell's called the Emperor.
He's called the Emperor, which he's only name dropped in A New Hope
Yeah.
as the Emperor.
And you know what was the weirdest one? Someone in this movie says, like as an answer to something, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Early on in the movie, and that is classically a line that's said in every Star Wars movie.
But this is just after a group of people had only seen the first one, so that wasn't an established phrase at this point.
Nah.
It's so weird.
It's crazy.
There's also a big sequence at the end where they're on Venus. A bunch of the X-Space Federation are now pilots in their little X-Wings.
Yeah.
And they're doing a trench run.
They're literally doing a trench run, and they have to try and get into the mouth of Commander Hell's ship. And some of them are like distracting the TIE fighter things. What are they actually called? I don't know. The Hell Fighters?
The Hellfighters.
The Hell Fighters. They're pretty much TIE fighters. So you've got X-Wings distracting TIE fighters while other X-Wings are being pursued by TIE fighters as they're going through this narrow trench to try and get to the enemy ship. And then the movie ends with them exploding a planet like the Death Star's exploded.
Yeah.
So it is actually there's quite a lot of Star Warsy stuff in it.
There are a lot of the same tropes.
Yeah.
Do they have the trope of the alien masquerading as a human with a mask on?
In
I don't
Star
think
Wars.
so. In
No,
Star
but in
Wars.
Star Wars, Han Solo masquerades as a stormtrooper with a mask on.
The parallels keep on coming.
Oh, and in Star Wars, they have lightsabers, but in this one, Miyoshi has a
Light spreaders, the butter knives.
Yeah, he's got a light knife. Light knife.
It's a night
A night
light.
knife. A light. He
Night
has like
knife.
a knife made of light that he chucks into the Space Beastman.
There'd be a cool name for it.
Crazy.
Yeah. I wonder how many of these things were planned about before they saw Star Wars.
Yeah. How many of these were in the original script for like Battle in Outer Space 2?
They would have had Commander Hell, surely.
Well, I've got a little bit here about the first draft of War in Space, or what it was originally written as. So apparently in the first draft, Commander Hell was called Kira, and Kira had a right-hand man named Hell.
Mm.
And then in further drafts, Hal turned into a character known as Large Man, who I think then turned into Space Beast Man. So he was only supposed to be a large man, and then they saw Star Wars and were like, yeah, he's going to be a Wookiee. So they definitely changed things up a little bit. But all the Star Wars stuff aside, I honestly had a lot of fun with the action scenes and the space combat. It's quite a thrilling movie, and the special effects are pretty good.
Surprisingly, especially for, 2 months?
Yeah, right?
Surprisingly good.
All the space battles with the TIE fighters versus the Goten, right? They look great, especially when the X-Wings come out later on. I don't know what these ships are actually called. They're X-Wings. It just looks surprisingly good. And I really loved just the sequences when they're just shooting the bad guys in the hallway. Like there's one moment, I think when the Messiah 13 aliens come aboard the Goten initially to try and steal June. And for some reason, they're dressed as like World War One soldiers.
I recognize that. I was thrown for a loop because I thought they were, I want to say like US double agents coming in with their army outfit.
But for some reason, the Messiah 13 aliens, they like Earth military history, right? They like World War One stuff. They like Roman stuff. Who knows? But there's this moment where the Messiah 13 aliens are fighting the crew of the Gotengo, and there's just some really great action sequences while they're shooting at each other. I actually really liked it. And even on top of that, the fight sequence I also really loved was when the Space Beast Man gets his like one and only moment to shine, and he's swinging his laser axe around at Miyoshi and Jun.
And he's trying to shoot at Space Beast Man.
Yeah.
But he cannot shoot anything that isn't the axe.
Yeah, Miyoshi's just shooting at the axe for some reason. But the fight scene's cool.
It's entertaining.
I like seeing
right?
Space Beast Man wander in there with his big axe and try and slash at them, and I like seeing him get light knifed in the back. It had a really good flow to the action. And there wasn't many moments where I was bored during this movie.
I kind of agree with you there. And I think for even scenes, like I do want to say that the antagonists of this movie, specifically Space Beast Man and Commander Hell, they're honestly not in it for too much.
No.
But I do feel like the scenes where they are in it, they do have quite a lot of charisma, and especially Space Beast Man. That one fight scene he's in, he's actually a really imposing creature.
Yeah, give us more Space Beast Man.
I want to learn more about the Space Beast race.
He's literally in like under 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I've got somewhere where you can learn more about the Space Beast
No,
Man
is there lore for the Space Beast race?
So,
sorry, I opened up my sparkling water there. Continue.
So, first off, Space Beast Man was played by professional Japanese wrestler Yukio Mammoth Suzuki.
Oh, good wrestling name.
So Mammoth played as Space Beast Man.
Is that his name in Japan? Like, did they call him the Mammoth not knowing what it was?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? But apparently, Mammoth had this thing where his eyes were really imposing. So they decided to, for Space Beast Man, leave his eyes exposed so that he could incorporate them into his performance. What did you think of Space Beast Man's eyes, Marco?
I can't remember them. I can't remember his imposing eyes.
Neither.
Honestly, his name is the Mammoth is more imposing than his eyes were.
But Space Beast Man appears in the Monster Warrior Godzilla comic.
No.
And Space...
What is...
I don't know what this comic is, but Space Beast Man is part of a group of monsters that seek out Godzilla's help after humans invade their world and massacre villagers.
So you're telling me in this comic, Space Beast Man is one of the good... No.
Yeah, Space Beast Man's had his world invaded by humans, he's had his people massacred, and he's rocking up to Godzilla saying, Godzilla, help me.
He's one of the good guys.
Yeah, but we have a link to Godzilla through Space Beast Man.
Through Space Beast Man. Okay, I like this.
And whatever Monster Warrior Godzilla is. I just wish we had more of Space Beast Man. I liked him. I think he had a cool vibe going on.
I do think he had a cool vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
I just quickly looked up a picture of Monster Warrior Godzilla.
Yeah.
This is him. Godzilla with like
Oh,
Conan-style sword
Wait,
and greaves and armor.
muscly humanoid Godzilla? Is he wearing pants, or is that like a what do brides wear on their wedding night, like around their thigh? Is he wearing one of those?
That's a sword sheath.
Oh,
Here's a color. I don't know what those are called either, but
is this like a Dragon Ball manga series with Godzilla?
it looks like Conan the Barbarian,
Godzilla going,
Kazar.
yeah, him traveling from planet to planet, avenging monsters whose worlds have been overtaken by the dreaded humans.
I might post. There's a link to it. I might post it up on the Discord.
The book.
Well, yeah, there's a link to Monster Warrior Godzilla English translation.
Oh my goodness.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna read through that. That's
I
good.
want to see Space Beast Man.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Space Beast Man was cool. You said the enemies were quite imposing and charismatic when they were in it. Can you rank for me? I want a ranking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mysterians, Natarl, or Messiah 13.
And the aliens?
The three alien races that we have had in the Mysterians trilogy.
In terms of imposingness, or just...
How much you like them?
And Space Beast Man is not included in this list.
Okay.
We're talking about the the aliens.
He can be a
trying to-
fourth alien race. He can be the Beastman race.
No. Mysterians, number one.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, the Mysterians, even from their first and only appearance, I guess, they were a real imposing threat. The whole movie is about them and their little egg trying to take over the world, and they kind of were able to do it.
Yeah.
There's something about their Power Ranger outfits. I want to say Akihiko Hirato was the leader of the Mysterians?
Maybe. He was in the movie.
That rings a bell. I might be completely
He
wrong.
was in this as well as a random, like,
UN
commander. in the
Japan
military.
leader?
Yeah.
I always look back and see them as, shoot, they were so close to overpowering the Earth.
Yeah.
Natarl, I cannot remember for the life of me.
They were the little munchkin men. The little,
Yeah.
like, tiny little aliens with, like, orange spacesuits and, like, grey helmets.
And they didn't really pose a threat, did they?
Battle in Outer Space is super forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember what they did to Earth, but there was a crew of astronauts in Battle in Outer Space that went to the Natal homeworld and were like shooting mesa cannons at their base.
For some reason.
Yeah. But there's that scene in Battle in Outer Space where they're like going through a cave and then they just get bombarded by this whole army of Natal that like
Yes,
crowd
I
around
remember
them.
that. So Mysterians, super dangerous. Natarl, they're like Ewoks.
Yeah.
And then these guys, they're just aliens. They're just like humanoids with guns.
But they wear like executioner masks and they've got green skin and they're super into Roman centurion stuff.
So because of their fashion, they should be placed higher. I did like the early scenes of this movie where there was the news of the American scientist who had died,
Yeah.
who had been working on the Goten. And then suddenly he's alive again, and the professor's, I want to say Masako's, celebrating. He's so happy that his friend's alive. This American scientist goes to see him and asks for the Goten plans, and he's really pressuring Masako to give them to him. And it's revealed that this American scientist is actually one of the Messiah 13s. It's such a weird name. Messiah 13 aliens. And Masako finds out because his American friend didn't hold his lighter in his right hand.
Yeah,
He was left-handed.
Left-handed.
There's this little fight scene and a little chase sequence there
Some
with
more
him.
great action. As three of the Space Federation guys just come in and like team up against him.
Mm.
One of them like chucks a lighter at his hand that's holding the gun.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, very creative. Does it ever give a reason for why the Messiah 13 aliens are doing what they're doing? Mysterians had a reason. I feel like Natarl had a reason. Messiah 13 aliens.
I don't know. Commander Hell goes on this rant about like how their race is so technologically advanced, so they can do things like what they're doing. So I think he's just saying we can do it because we can.
Because they...
We'll just destroy the Earth because we can do it.
I feel like there's a philosophical mindset with that.
Yeah. It's funny you brought up that scene at the start, though, with that scientist being an alien, because I actually think the strengths of this movie are the interactions between the human characters. Because there's a lot of just really cool sequences when they're just talking to each other. We get moments. The love triangle's so strange.
It's weird, right?
Like, we get cool moments when the two guys are talking about, like, June, her love for them. And I really liked the moments. Like, it was quite cool to have this love triangle aspect to a movie, like a proper one. But it was weird.
Because there's that one scene that comes to mind on the Goten where Miyoshi and Muroi are talking.
Yeah.
Since Muroi's engaged to Jin, he goes over to Miyoshi and says, "Hey, if I die on this mission, I want you to look after her.
Yeah, she's always loved you.
She's always loved you.
You just take her.
I know you'll
If I
take good
die.
care of her."
I'm just leaving my romance up to this mission. They can decide what happens. If I die, she's yours. If I live, she's mine.
This girl had a crush on you. She's engaged to me, but hey, if I die, she's all yours. Which I guess makes sense in some weird chivalrous sort of way.
Yeah.
And you feel like this love triangle would have a bit more impact on their actions and had a bit more depth. Later on in the movie, Miyoshi and Muroi are separated into their two teams.
Yeah.
They're both in their little TIE fighter things.
X-Wings.
In their X-Wings, that's right.
Thank you.
And Muroi specifically is heading up and going straight for the Daimakan, helmed by Commander Hell.
Yeah.
And he's about to die. Everybody knows it. What does he do in his last few seconds?
He, like, heads towards the big ship, the Daimakan.
Straight on.
Straight on. But then I think he turns around. And he's heading away from the ship, like, backwards to meet back with the group.
Because he's got a fiancée to save.
Yeah, I think everyone's just regrouping back at the Goten. And he's just, like, thinking. He just spends seconds on his face as he's just thinking.
He has a little smirk as well.
Yeah, like, what's he thinking? Like, I'm gonna be back to June. I'm the guy for her. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just gets killed.
He turns back around, heads straight towards the Daimakan, doesn't shoot, doesn't do anything.
It's so anticlimactic.
Intense music going on. The second that he flies straight into the nose of the ship,
Yeah.
you hear Jun scream, and all the music cuts
Yeah.
to silence.
And then seconds later, Jun is the happiest she's been the whole movie as she runs up to Miyoshi.
Yeah, she's not crying at all.
I want to talk about another person who just had an undeserved death, and this was Jimmy from NASA.
Jimmy from NASA.
Jimmy from NASA comes in like a hero, just parachuting down, jumping on board the Goten. He's lost his whole family. Such an emotional scene as he's reading this letter and he's just crying, remembering his family and him running through a park, having a picnic together.
It flashes back to like children laughing.
My goodness,
These
I feel
guys
for
having
Jimmy.
a picnic.
Is this the most
I feel
emotional
for
moment
Jimmy.
we've had in the whole of Podzilla so far?
I think so. You see tears rolling down his face.
And he's like risking his life. The only thing he has left is life for the people of Earth. And he gets shot down from the Messiah 13 aliens.
He's in one of his X-Wings.
Yeah. He gets shot down. He manages to take a whole side of the mountain with him that falls on top of the Daimakan, the enemy's ship.
Yeah.
Like, what a way to go, Jimmy. Everyone just says, Jimmy! And then no
Nothing.
one speaks about him again. No
Nothing.
tears are shed. They say his name once, and Jimmy's gone. The true hero of this story, Jimmy from NASA.
Yeah.
He's
Jimmy
just
from
forgotten.
NASA did more work to quell the threat of the Messiah 13 aliens than I think anyone did save for the captain.
Our main character in this, Miyoshi, what did he do? Miyoshi's never the guy that goes out on the missions to go and
Wait a
check the
second.
space station to see if anyone survived. He's never the guy to be like, okay, I'm going to
Wait
head
a
up. I'm going to
second.
head up an X-wing and fight this thing face on. He just finds Jun in the prison. No,
Wait.
he doesn't even find Jun. He gets taken from the Messiah 13 aliens, put in the prison cell. Jun frees him.
He shoots at the space beast man.
He doesn't actually do anything except he just chucks a dagger. This whole movie, all our main hero does to save the day is chuck a dagger into a Wookiee that was probably a good guy being held there against his will all along.
And then after that, to kill Commander Hell, to save everybody from the Messiah 13 aliens, It's Captain Masato who does the
Yeah.
work.
He brings out the ether bomb from the drill bit of the Gotengo. Not the Gotengo, the Goten.
The Goten.
Same thing.
Wait,
What did Miyoshi do?
Yoshi did nothing.
He's introduced to us as this big hero character that everyone loves. Jun just loves him because he's such a heroic guy.
He throws a knife, and then he's just gallivanting around with Jun for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, he is undeserved. You know who deserves to have a partner like Jun?
Who? Jimmy from NASA?
Jimmy from NASA.
I bet you Muroi, as he was thinking in his ship, as he was smirking, he was probably like, hey, you know what? I don't deserve Jun. Miyoshi doesn't deserve Jun. I'm going to see if Jimmy and Jun could get together.
You know, when I turn around in 5 seconds, I'm going to... And then he does. Undeserved.
Undeserved.
Both of them. I think Miyoshi... I don't think he's important at all to this
He's
film.
not all that. He's not all that.
No.
It just shows you people aren't always what they're hyped up to be, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Some guys are just douchebags, even though they're like, oh, he's the hotshot dude. Nah. All he can do is chuck a knife haphazardly into a harmless beast.
I did actually prepare a few words, Jasha.
Oh, did you? What the?
A famous writer once said, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. If that's true, then Jimmy from NASA made a great life. He was the most giving person I've ever known, and judging from the nodding heads I see in front of me through this whole crowd gathered here today, it seems that many of you agree. Now, Jimmy from NASA was born...
Can we take a minute of silence?
I wrote a eulogy for
We needed
Jimmy.
it. Let's take a minute of silence for Jimmy from NASA right now.
Everybody, I just want you to pause this podcast for a minute.
No, I'm keeping a minute of silence right here from Jimmy from NASA. I'm glad that someone remembered it, even if we at Podzilla had to be the ones to do it.
Hopefully, the memory of Jimmy from NASA lives on. Just in history. If we can do anything with this podcast, it's to let the name of Jimmy from NASA
Yeah, remember him.
be known.
I've got a couple of other notes. One was just this ether bomb
Yeah.
that was in the drill of the Goten that the captain flies in to the Daimokin to destroy the Messiah 13 aliens. This ether bomb, he literally says that it could destroy the whole universe, and he says, before he flies it into the aliens, he says, well, looks like I'm going to destroy the universe to save the Earth.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I mean, all it did was destroy Venus, but what was he thinking was going to happen?
Maybe, this is pure speculation. Maybe Captain Masato thought that, hey, we've seen this with Gorath in the past, how they just destroyed the moon.
Yeah.
Maybe he's thinking with Venus destroyed, the whole solar system is going to go out of whack.
Is that what would happen if, like, a planet in our solar system just got absolutely destroyed? Would there be a knock-on effect that, like, stuffs up Earth's orbit?
There'd be a little bit of a change, but I think since it's still orbiting around the sun, we might be fine.
But then the moon would completely stuff us up because that controls our tides and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somewhat of a day-night cycle as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think... If Venus were to be destroyed, I honestly don't think anything would happen.
He was being a bit dramatic.
A bit dramatic,
A little bit. The other thing I really, really loved about this movie was just the production design and the costumes and stuff. They're like bodysuits that they wear aboard the Goten, like the
The
yellow
orange.
and the orange and the blue that the captain wears. Yeah, the orange actual spacesuits they used to fly out of the Goten.
Mm.
It looks straight out of something from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like,
Yeah.
it's just really cool. And even the Messiah 13 stuff, their base where Commander Hell is, there's just this, like, giant, big snake statue.
I remember this. It was wrapped around the screen,
Yeah.
like the TV screen that he had in his little lair.
Yeah, I don't know why it was there, but it was cool. And then their ship that they were on, again, it looked like a big Roman warship, and, like, all the oars were there, but instead of being actual oars, they were turrets.
See, they had charisma. They had flair.
They did have flair.
What did the Goten have?
The Goten had the ether bomb and a drill. It had a drill on the front of it, Micah.
What's the point of having a drill for a spaceship?
I really have no clue at all. I really have no clue. Should we just quickly go through and, talk about the monsters and the machines? I don't know.
The machines?
Well,
Do you want to talk about the Dynacon and the...
yeah, I do want to talk about them. Well, we talked about Space Beastman, right?
Yeah.
He appears in a Godzilla comic. That's cool. Commander Hell appears in the video game Godzilla Trading Battle.
Now, I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think it's like a collectible card game on PlayStation that was released in Japan or something.
Godzilla Card Battle, did you say?
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla Trading Battle. That's all it was. He appears in Godzilla Trading Battle. So that's another little connection to the world of Godzilla that War in Space has. Maybe we need to get a Japanese copy of that game and just play through
That would be fun. I'd love to do like a Twitch stream of that.
it. We would not be able to understand what we're doing.
Probably not.
The Goten. The Goten? The Goten?
The Goten, not to be confused with the Gotengo.
No, but the name comes straight from the name of the Gotengo. So the Gotengo translates to roaring heavens,
Yep.
and the go at the end is typically given to ships and other machinery. So the Gotengo, the Goting, roaring heavens, go, ship, this is just called roaring heavens. Whereas the Gotengo is
Okay.
called roaring heavens ship.
It's like having a pirate ship called, I don't know, the Blazing Mary ship.
Yeah.
And then having another one just called the Blazing Mary.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. But the Goten, the ship from this movie, not the Gotengo, appears in the Nintendo Entertainment System game Godzilla Monster of Monsters. So, Space Beastman, Commander Hell, the Goten, they all separately appear in separate Godzilla games or comics,
That's really cool, actually.
which is pretty random, but
yeah.
cool. The Daimacan, which is the giant Roman ship that the Messiah 13 aliens have. This is just a weird bit of trivia about it, guys. But the Daimacan is referenced in episode 47 of the anime Sonic X.
Wait, what?
And in the Sonic X episode, the episode's called Map of Mayhem, they have to go to Destination Latitude Zero.
Oh, weird.
Is the name of another movie we've covered on the show. And then they are attacked by Dr. Eggman's battleship, which he calls the Egg Giant McCann.
The egg.
Or in Japanese, the Egu Daimacan. And it apparently looks exactly like the Daimacan from this. It's just Eggman's ship.
I wonder if that's an intentional reference, because it sounds like intentional reference to Toho.
Yeah.
Or if one of the writers just watched a bunch of Toho films the last night and was like, I can't think of any other names.
I'm going to come up with
Nobody will know
Eggman's
this.
ship. Yeah. Yeah. I had a list here of the similarities to Star Wars, Space Beastman to Chewbacca, the lightsaber to the dagger. But apparently as well, there's a Land Rover in this. I think it's the one that they drive around on Venus in.
I can remember this.
Yeah.
It was barely in it.
Apparently they mention its R2 antenna. They talk about the R2 antenna
The
heaps.
R2?
And people say that might be a reference to R2D2. Who knows? I didn't even catch them say R2 once, so who knows? Jun Fukuda, the director of this, has always called the Hellfighters, which we call the TIE Fighters, spinning eggs.
They look more like spinning eggs than they seem like Hellfighters.
Yeah, so fans have kind of caught on, and they're just known as the spinning eggs.
Spinning eggs?
So
Great.
we might as well catch that one up. And the writer for this movie is credited as Hachiro Jinjuki.
Okay.
And this is a pseudonym. This isn't an actual person, but this is a pseudonym that was created to encompass all the writers, producers, and directors who worked on the movie.
Jinjuki.
Hachiro Jinjuki. Now, the funny thing is the commander from the Gotengo in Atragon, the Gotengo,
Yeah.
is apparently called Jinjuki.
Weird.
So they choose their pseudonym to be the name of
a captain of a ship,
of a
kind of in the previous movie.
the Gotengo, which is random.
A lot of
Another
weird
little
trivia for
connection.
this movie.
Yeah, but that's everything I have. So main takeaway is, yeah, this is 100% a space movie Toho was making that they then tried to make similar to Star Wars to get a bit of the hype.
I think what Star Wars does right is even if an alien is in it, like Chewbacca I want to say a few minutes, but Chewbacca's in it for quite a lot. You feel like there's enough lore around the race for it to be fleshed out.
Yeah.
Any of the aliens in this movie, it feels like they're just that. There's no real lore behind them. There's nothing more than what's on screen. Like, I'd love to know more about Space Beast Man.
Yeah.
Is he kept there against his will?
Mm.
Is he forced to execute these prisoners?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like Toho didn't think that far.
No, that definitely would have been cool to have it fleshed out a bit. But hey, I mean, we've seen it time and time again with Toho's sci-fi stuff. It just doesn't go into depth with the aliens at random race
Yeah.
each time. And it doesn't give us much to work with.
Jasha,
Yeah.
favorite human character?
Favorite human character in War in Space, I am going to say Jimmy from NASA.
Yeah,
I think we can both agree on that one.
I'm glad.
Nothing more needs to be said. It's not often that an American actor is actually good in a Toho movie.
Let alone steals the show.
Yeah. This guy's the heart and soul of War in Space.
I on the Letterboxd and IMDb, his character is just listed as Jimmy.
We need to update that to Jimmy from NASA. 'cause
Jimmy
that's-
from NASA.
That's all he was referenced to in this movie.
Yeah. When he died, they should have said Jimmy from NASA.
Jimmy! The one from NASA. Micah, let's just wrap things the heck up. How many... Let's go with spinning eggs. How many spinning eggs would you give War in Space?
How low do I want to go for this?
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to go 2 spinning eggs out of 5.
Flat me.
I don't think this is a great movie, but I think that there is enough history, especially with all the Star Wars ties to it, that it makes for such an interesting piece of media. There is just enough in the movie to keep me interested, but looking back on it now, it just feels like I can't see this as just a movie. It is now always going to be tied to the history around it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I've summed up all my thoughts just there.
I just want to let the record show that every Toho sci-fi film that we've watched, you've rated lowish,
Yeah.
and I've rated a lot higher than you.
Yeah.
And this isn't any different. I'm going to give this 4.5 spinning eggs out of 5.
What the heck?
I don't know, man.
This is on the higher end of any of the Godzilla movies we've seen for you.
I can't explain myself. This is such a fun movie. And the special effects look great. All the space stuff is amazing. All the fight scenes are great. The costumes look
Slow
great.
down, dude. What the heck?
I actually felt for all these characters. The Space Beast Man steals the show. He's just so much fun. This gave me vibes from Flash Gordon and Highlander and so many random 80s movies. And of course Star Trek and Star Wars. But it feels more like a love letter to than a rip-off from, you know? This is like an amalgamation and a love letter to all these type of movies. And it was directed by my boy Jun Fukuda. I don't know. There was not a moment in this that I was unentertained. And this, in comparison to a lot of the movies I've watched before, I just think it was a step up in terms of special effects, Cinematography was really creative. Music was really great. And even though the story is a little cliche, I mean, it's a classic rollicking sci-fi adventure. Rollicking.
Guys, I want to let the record show. You let the record show something. I'm going to let the record show that Jasha did rate A New Hope 5 stars out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
But he rated Return of the Jedi 4.5 out of 5. You're saying this is on par with Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, man.
Right now, answer me this. Spaceman, Beastman, or Ewoks? I need an answer.
Spaceman, Beast...
Oh, yeah, there we go. Done. Spaceman, Beastman, he said. Let the record show. No, I had so much fun watching
fair,
this.
Dude. That's fair. I won't argue with it.
But I am increasingly aware that my ratings for Podzilla are just all over the show.
Oh, exactly. Is this the last movie of the Showa era?
This is officially the last Showa era film that we are covering on the main feed.
I feel like we need a reset of our rankings.
Well, let's put the Showa era behind us. We will be next week. I know we usually do episodes every 2 weeks, but next week we're going to release a Showa era retrospective. Where we're going to go over some of our favorite moments, movies, monsters from the past, like 20 years of Toho films since we've started the show, really. So that's going to be really fun to kind of stack our rankings up against each other and see what actually comes up on top.
I feel like starting Podzilla, seeing only a few movies and not really knowing where it was going to go, I was a bit more critical.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was a bit less critical. But now it's gotten to the point where I can say this on your behalf for this movie. You just start to enjoy the things that are terrible.
I think that's definitely it, right? You watch something long enough and you get into how it's made and you actually start to care about the subject matter and you will start enjoying it. And I think I just really have grabbed a hold of how these movies are made, the creatives that are involved in getting it made, and the styles and tropes that you see throughout them. And I just really, I just love it and I just embrace it.
Knowing trivia behind the scenes, what it takes to make these movies.
Yeah.
Even just knowing that this movie was made in 2 months, it makes you appreciate it.
Yeah.
If I can say anything. I still think it's a bad movie, but I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's a bit sentimental for me.
Well, we put it out to you guys. What was your favorite moments from the war in space? And we've got probably the most voice messages than we've ever received on Podzilla. So we're going to listen to some of your guys' favorite moments from the war in space. Let's start off with Kev.
Hello, Podzilla. Kev here to talk about The War in Space, Toho's all-time classic. Some people say that a lot of elements of The War in Space were directly ripped off from Toho's countryman, Akira Kurosawa from The Hidden Fortress, and a little bit from The Seven Samurai, but to that. This is a totally original enough story set in space, not similar to any others at all. Now, you sent the message out. You wanted to hear my favorite part, and it's a little controversial. As we all know, The War in Space was re-released in the mid-90s with brand new effects, and my favorite part of The War in Space is the song inside Jabba's palace called Jedi Rocks. Now, why it's called Jedi Rocks, I don't know. Jedi are not an issue in this film, but okay. I just thought it was hilarious. The CG effects are top-notch and really sets the tone for potentially more War in Space, although we haven't seen any yet, but maybe one day. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Can't wait to hear the show. Peace and love from Kev.
Yeah, it is a bit weird that they decided to bring over Jabba from the Star Wars movies into this universe.
I can't remember that in this movie.
Actually, now that you mention it, neither can I.
That...
It's all right. Let's go to the next.
It was a re-release. That's random. Next up we've got a message here from Brucker.
The War in Space. Man, what a classic. I think everybody saw this growing up, right? I mean, this had such an impact in the 70s and 80s, all of cinema after that, really. And I mean, the music is great. The characters are fun. We have the fun sidekicks, the tall furry guy in this. I mean, I think that's an instant classic with people. And the music is so serious and operatic. And plus, I love that the spaceships are not like actual ships. You know, they're like, you know, they don't need to look like boats in space. I think that's great that they decided to just look them like freighters or whatever. And, you know, war in space, you know, it's war among the stars. It's great. Love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Rucker, hitting it hard with the good points there.
Can't remember orchestral music either.
Yeah, it was a bit jazzy, but let's go, Derek. We got a message from Derek from the Underrated podcast. Let's have a listen.
Hey guys, it's Derek from Underrated here, and I wanted to tell you guys about my favorite part of this movie, which is, of course, it's a line that people love to quote, however, they always misquote it. It is the part at the end when all seems to be lost, and his arm has just been cut off, and he's looking right into the face of his enemy, and then he tells him, and here's the right quote, "No, I am your father."
Now, I don't think, Derek, you must have watched a different movie, man.
No, I mean, Misako is Jun's father,
Oh, he did.
but she never gets anything cut off.
Was there? I know, like, for movies like this, there's usually the Japanese version, and they cut out and redo some scenes for the English versions.
You might have just seen a different one.
Yeah, I must have. Let's go. We got one from Waffles.
Waffles here. You guys wanted me to send in my favorite moment from The War in Space. And I would have to say, like, it's a film full of amazing moments. But my favorite moment out of everything would have to be when General Kenobi faces off with General Grievous, and General Grievous is all like, "General Kenobi," and Kenobi's like, "Hello there," and then he pulls out his lightsaber, but then General Grievous pulls out 4 lightsabers and starts doing that little spinny zoo, 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 zoo thing, and then they fight. That is my favorite scene from The War in Space, the Toho movie from 1977.
Now that's just Attack of the Clones, isn't it?
That is Star Wars Attack of the Clones. That is Star Wars Attack of the Clones. That wasn't...
Did he get the right podcast?
This is... Yeah, man. I think he's talking about Blue Milk Drop, right? And
Yeah,
speaking of Blue Milk
most
Drop, we've got a message here from the host of Blue Milk Drop, the Star Wars podcast, from Nate. Why would the host of a Star Wars podcast be sending in to our episode on the War in Space? Let's have a listen.
You know, I think my favorite scene from War in Space was when the main character, he's going to like this moon space station thing, and he's in this trench, and he's got to shoot like this ion ball into this hole to blow up this moon space station thing, and it just got me at the edge of my seat. I was just my eyes were just glued to the TV. I couldn't help myself. I loved it. Best movie.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, it wasn't like ion balls, but it was, I think, they definitely called it the ether bomb.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a space station
It was
necessarily.
Venus exploded.
Venus. Close enough.
That was definitely
Like a few mixed up details, but
the War in Space. Thanks for that. We got one here from Vince, or Boba Shinga from Strictly Casual. Let's have a listen.
What's up, Podzilla? One of my favorite scenes is when Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie are all stuck in the trash compactor in the Death Star. They're trying to find a way out, they got water up to their thighs, and all of a sudden, a creature starts swimming around, and it has these tentacles, it's grabbing on their arms and their legs, trying to pull them under. I always go back to the scene, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, thanks, Vincent.
I mean,
I must have missed that. Did we watch The War in Space?
can you check the link that we used?
Oh, wait, yeah, I'll have a look. We got...
That's right. We can check and post.
Yeah,
we can change it.
We got 3 more messages. Okay, one here's from Ron. Let's have a listen to Ron's.
Hey, Drake Brothers, how are you? You know I love the show. Godzilla's an icon, and you guys are doing an exceptional job celebrating that legacy. But I saw that you're doing something different this week, and I had to call in. You know, a lot of people say that 1975 was the year that cinema changed with the release of Jaws, but I disagree. To me, I think it was 1977 with the release of a little sci-fi epic by the name of
The War in Space.
I mean,
The War in Space.
it wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomena. My dad saw
The War in Space.
I think like a dozen times in the theater. When I was born, it was the first movie he showed me. I had all of
The War in Space.
toys, all of
The War in Space.
video games. I had a
The War in Space.
lunchbox in school. Has there been a bigger movie merchandising juggernaut than?
The War in Space.
I mean, I'm wearing a
The War in Space.
t-shirt right now. It's just such an important touchstone to film, you know. There's before
The War in Space.
and then there's after.
The War in Space.
So many movies have tried to copy its success, but you just can't touch the original. And now there have been all the sequels and prequels and TV series. You can go to amusement parks and live the adventures on
The War in Space.
themed rides.
The War in Space.
Score is one of the most recognizable pieces of music in history. You can probably go anywhere in the world and talk to anyone of any age or gender or whatever, and everyone knows.
The War in Space.
It just had such a huge impact, and I'm glad you guys are covering it on Podzilla. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Take care, you guys. I'm going to go build my
The War in Space.
Lego set now. Everyone go watch Hawk the Slayer. Hawk the Slayer rules.
I mean, look, I don't know if everybody on Earth knows about the war in space, but we're trying to share its legacy as much as we can.
I'm jealous that you had Spaceman, Beastman action figures growing up.
Yeah, dude, if I had to... I can't find the war in space lunchbox anywhere, but if I could, I would be using it every single day.
Ron, thank you for the message. Check out Hawk the Slayer, guys. Actually, big Hawk the Slayer vibes from this movie.
I was going to say during the main meat of this episode.
Yeah, big Hawk
A
the
lot
Slayer
of Hawk
vibes.
the Slayer vibes.
Okay, we got two more. Next one here is from Holt.
My favorite scene is actually an alternate scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan are first meeting General Grievous. General Grievous kills Master Shakti without any remorse or hesitation. Just bam, a lightsaber straight through the chest. And then he says, "I look forward to adding your lightsabers to my collection," while putting Master Shakti's lightsaber into his collection. Just so much more of a badass entrance for General Grievous. Anyway, that's my favorite scene. Cheers, guys.
I did not realize there were deleted scenes for this. I did a lot of research for trivia, and I did not find deleted scenes.
No.
Weird that they had someone called General Grievous in 1977, and then the prequels would just rip that off in the 90s.
The producers for this movie could have seen the George's blueprints for the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about the Shakti in this movie either.
No. Yeah, weird.
Maybe some subtitle mistranslation.
Yeah, chalk it down to mistranslation again. We got one more message here from a good personal friend of ours, Stephen Garden.
Okay, but what even is this movie if not a giant meme on Star Wars? I couldn't find a version that wasn't overdubbed with American dialogue, which made it an even worse experience, if that's even possible. I saw a review by Tan Chad on Letterboxd that said, "Imagine the timeline where this became the world's largest space opera phenomenon instead of Star Wars." I guess my version of that review would be, imagine the timeline where this was Top Gun Maverick, except Takigawa made a bomb so powerful that it destroys the nearby uranium enrichment plant. Yup.
What are you talking about, Steve? This is the war in space.
This is the war in space.
This is the war in space. Thank you all so much for sending in your voice messages.
I might need to check out any other versions of this film.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. Full stop.
Obviously, the garage sale that we got the VHS of this movie of.
Yeah.
I don't know. It must have been some shady dealer.
We got a whack copy of this. We need to try to track down the real war in space, the classic. Yeah, thank you all for sending in voicemails.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys. That is us for this week. As I said, we'll be back next week with our Showa era retrospective, so be ready for that. But the week after that, oh boy, 2 weeks' time and a bye week, we're covering Godzilla, the original animated series, which was created by Hanna-Barbera.
No.
And this follows a group of scientists traveling around the globe, searching for various destructive monsters with the help of Godzilla and his adopted son, Godzuki.
I literally thought you were going to say the first Heisei film. And I forgot this existed, dude.
This is not a Showa era film. This is not a Heisei film. This is like an American production.
This is like a Scooby-Doo style Godzilla.
Yeah, we watched one full episode together. Man, you guys are you guys are in for a treat with Godzuki. If any of you thought Manila was bad, Godzuki is going to be your favorite Godzilla son of all time.
Yeah.
But you can find every single episode of Godzilla, the original animated series, on the official Toho Godzilla YouTube page. They have a playlist with all the episodes available for free. Makes it super easy to give any of them a watch.
And I will say, one, do not commit yourself to watching the whole series. That is just stupid. We are going to do it.
Yeah, we're going to watch about 10 hours of this thing.
Two, watch at least one episode yourself.
Watch an episode.
8 minutes long.
Yeah.
You will regret it.
At this point, you probably only need to watch one from the couple that I've seen. Just watch one.
Just watch
You'll
one.
You'll get the vibe. But we're back next week with our Showa era retrospective. We are back in 2 weeks for Godzilla, the original animated series. But in the meantime, over on our Patreon, links in the show notes, or it's patreon.com/podzilla, we covered another Showa era film. So if you just can't get enough, you can go over to patreon.com/podzilla. $5 a month, you get access to a whole lot of bonus episodes, bonus commentary tracks, but we did an episode on the Showa film, Invisible Man.
That's right, and for clarification, that's $5 New Zealand, which means it is so much less literally everywhere else.
Yeah, so have a look. We'd really, really appreciate the support. It means we get to do some real cool stuff with the show, whether that be getting some new art done, whether that be coming up with some ideas for further episodes. We're actually maybe going to branch out and try and do some extra stuff in the publication space with Podzilla. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge. There might be some stuff there, but we'd appreciate any support that we could get.
And I will say the next few potential movies we have lined up for the Patreon exclusive episodes are absolute bangers.
Yeah, and you get to vote on what you want to hear us talk about. Your vote could decide the next Podzilla episode.
We could watch this original movie from 1977 called Star Wars. I don't know if many people have heard of it.
Oh, it's just supposed to be a rip-off of The War in Space, isn't it?
We could watch that and talk about it if you wanted us to.
If you guys wanted us to.
Don't know why you would, but...
Over to patreon.com/podzilla. But that is everything. Again, thank you so much to everyone who sent in messages this episode. Most of those people actually have amazing podcasts or shows, so you can check in the links in the show notes to find all of their stuff. But any final words of wisdom, Mike? Any key takeaways you got from The War in Space that you just want to imbue into us and make us take away from this episode to try living our lives with the betterment that this movie will bring us? What do you got?
Yeah, I think just every day from this day forward, as you're going through your life, as you're working your jobs, as you're doing your hobbies, as you're living life, just remember Jimmy from NASA and how much he sacrificed.
Yeah. I might name my son Jimmy.
From NASA.
Yeah. Middle name, from NASA.
Jimmy from NASA Drake.
Yeah. What a name. I'll legally change my last name to NASA and then Jimmy. Middle name from.
Jimmy, middle name from. I might go talk to your wife about it.
That's been Podzilla with your hosts, Jasha
and Micah Drake. Follow along on our socials at PodzillaPod and jump into our Discord via the link in the show notes.
Huge thank you to Cassie Celine, who did our podcast art, and Degora9898, who did our episode thumbnail.
Let's go. And just a disclaimer that any musical sound effects used in this episode belong entirely to the Toho Company. See you guys next episode.